Hello everyone, welcome to 100 Days of Making Comics, day 75, round 2. So today we are going to see Avengers Infinity War. I'm super excited, I can't wait. So I'm walking to the cinema right now, and I had a... Oh, look at that. You see that? Probably not, probably too far for you guys. But I had a bit of a moment yesterday coming up with some new ideas, and then Ox was kind enough to drop some pointers of his own in regards to me dropping a love story from my science fiction adventure comic book called Phosphor, which is what this 100 Days is all about. And so I figured I would not drop it entirely, but just kind of postpone it at the start of the story so I can have a nice little twist and avoid the odd cliche or so. And then I had some more ideas. So I kind of want to play with the expectations. I kind of want to play with the cliche. I don't want to take it out. I think cliches are worthwhile, as I was saying in my video yesterday. However, if you can hear any of this, as I'm wondering why I'm recording a video right in the center of a junction, I've come to the conclusion that the best way to play with it, with what I've got, is for the tease of a relationship to be there, and for a lady who is overly ambitious to give the impression that, you know, she would, you know, take advantage and sneak away to the top, but she doesn't. In fact, it is simply the guy being a bit of a creep. And then ultimately, when things go quite the opposite way for her, it kind of allows me to play with those feelings of like, well, you know, like, is this what I, like, was I not ambitious enough? Like, is this what I should have done? Of course not, the answer should be, but like, it allows for those issues to come up for her, and it also allows for more issues to come up with her best friend, who then seemingly seems to get her position, if that makes sense. So those are kind of the ideas I've got going right now to add a little twist to the cliche of a love relationship, romantic entanglement in a tale like this. But I've had some other ideas that I want to talk about on my way to the cinema before I go home and sit myself down for another half hour to work on my comic book, as we do for these consecutive 100 days. Half an hour at the very least. Quickly running out of time today. So before I get down and draw the layout in pencil, trying not to spoil the film for you guys, the other ideas I had was, because I had to think of what Ox is actually doing. So if you're not familiar with Mr. Samurai Ox, he is making a comic book series called I Never Forgot. You should check out his channel. I'll put a link down below. So one of the things that I've always found most audacious about the man is that he's not just putting his comic book out there and simply doing it, which would be inspiration enough. Ox actually set forth the notion of making a 13-part story. And so right now, so I've got these ideas. Like, I've always had like quite a big tale, quite a big world that I've been building. If you've been following these videos along, you've gotten more than a few glimpses at them. But one of the things that I'm thinking is like, well, if I think of this as less of a film, you know, and films tend to be an hour and a half to 3 hours, and more of a TV show, which is many episodes. How many? Well, I suppose that depends on your budget. But then, you know, like, the wonderful thing about TV shows nowadays, of course, just like the comic books that we used to read, that have what is it, like that Superman issue that recently reached issue 1000. So, like what I'm trying to say is like these are very long form storylines. They take their time. Every issue is exciting as a little chapter, but like there's an ongoing plot that allows itself to be developed. There's character development, over many, many issues. And so, like the thought of Ox just putting out like I'm doing a 13 issue thing kind of made me think about my own story. Like, in how many issues could I tell this story? Because I feel like the pace the first issue sets could be picked up. But I also feel like, well, if I keep it at this pace, then at what point will they actually come to the big discovery that they're going to make, where things take a turn for the worse for all of them? So if you're not aware of what my story is about, it's a sci-fi story. It's about a bunch of scavengers who ultimately, while looking to score big and find some loot, hit upon an ancient relic, ancient location of some sorts, and they score big, but ultimately awaken a monster of some sorts that ends up killing all of them, mostly. So in a nutshell, it very much follows along the lines of stories like Alien, The Thing, because that's kind of my inspiration behind all of this. It's my own story, but like I came to realize like that's the kind of playground I want to play in. So, like, let's say this is going to be a 10 issue run. This is going to be a story that has to be told in 10 issues. So then, of course, with all the spare time that I've got coming up, going part-time, I've been thinking like, how many pages can I crank out in the remainder of my 100 days? Because the next big phase is going to be traditional art, making the actual pages based on the rough ink versions that you can download from the link down below, that I put up there for everyone to read if you want to know what the story is about right now. So I figured, less than a page a day, but let's say a page a day, I should be able to get at least 16 out of me. Actually, no, that's wrong. Wait a minute, day 75. So 25. So that's not going to happen because I still have a part-time job. So let's make it. I did the. That's where 16 comes from. I did the counting. So 16 full days to draw. So 16 pages out of 26. That would be pretty awesome if I reached that. So 10 issues then would be 228 pages. So that, of course, that thought of like, dude, you're drawing 228 pages. Like the story is going to have to fill 228 pages. But then I thought like, well, is that actually going to be enough? Because I feel like there's so much story to develop and characters, but then being realistic, of course, you think like, well, that's all really nice and all, but for all intents and purposes, practically speaking, you need to work on your art so that you can have a job in art and do this full time, so you can improve a lot quicker, preferably in comics if that's possible. Well, then you need to put these comic books out and make them a success and all that. So if that doesn't happen, then in the meantime, if you're gonna focus all your energy on putting 200-page story out, then at what point can you put the stuff out that's actually going to generate money? Blah blah blah. So these are all like the thoughts I've been having. So the thought of like a 10-issue story is just, I don't know, like the thought of doing it and like trying to fit the story within that kind of frame is really focusing my mind on like what needs to be done. How should I put it? What needs to be done story-wise to make sure that everything kind of fits and moves along, right? And yeah, kind of lost my train of thought. What the hell am I? So yeah, lots of big ideas about how am I gonna fill out this tale. Lots of big ideas about like how much space I have to develop the characters and like develop their entanglements, their stories before things go horribly wrong. And I need to. Well, tonight I'm definitely gonna sit down and draw the layout for the new page 4 that I'm gonna insert after page 3 that I've been talking about in the last two videos. But then tomorrow I'm definitely gonna have to sit down behind my computer and just write down everything I've just talked about. You know, like put the story down and then 10 issue run. What would that mean? And then if things do take off and I would like to expand on that, then I could simply insert issues in between. We get 20 issue run. Blue sky thinking. Anyway, I'm on my way to Avengers Infinity War. So I hope you guys are pumped for this movie like I am. Who's gonna live? Who's gonna die? Well, I'm kinda Team Iron Man on this one. I think he's not gonna make it out. I think he's gonna be toast by the end of this film. Just my thought. Or maybe both Cap and Iron Man eat it. I'm very curious. I don't want any of them to die, of course, because I love all of them. So, well, we know Ant-Man makes it out. He's got a movie coming up. That would be awkward if that's all a ruse and there is no Ant-Man 2. Or someone else takes the suit again. Scary thoughts. All right, let's see what they got going for us. You guys, thank you for watching along. Hope you don't mind the rambling as I was trying to gather my thoughts during this little walk. Walks are always wonderful for figuring out what it is you're trying to do. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys on day 76. Right after a little video following this one on the layout I just promised you of the new page 4. 1:45, just got home, ready to work on my comic book. Yes, I just saw the film. This is my unspoken review.